Fortunately, I was like talking to the wrong guys. I was contacting ESL about that and not DreamHack, and then I went to like sleep. And then when I woke up, it had already started. So that's a bit my fault, I guess. But yeah,
You guess? Okay.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, wouldn't wanna take too much of the blame more.
Yeah, then but we do get the NA one, so that's pretty cool.
And I hope mechanic in our chat just telling us to hype up the North American ladder. So don't think we need to do introductions for these players. Both very well known. It's Bales against PiLiPili. We already see a very interesting deviation here from PiLiPili. Usually when you play PvP, you will wall the way that Bales is doing. If you could look at Bales' wall, Moro, then you can see that going for a pylon and gateway and then being able to close out your base with a cyber core is kind of the standard on Dusk Tower maps with in-base expansion. And what PiLiPili is doing rather is that he's doing a anti-adept kind of wall instead of like the deny scouting wall.
Yeah.
So basically he will be able to put up a pylon in the choke there if he identifies that Bales is going for an adept opening. So kind of interesting start here. Personally, I'm a bit more of a fan of the way Bales is doing this.
Yeah, I think on the European ladder for sure, especially there. Like I know you were one of the biggest guys to popularize just walling in completely like this, and we don't see too often people doing like PiLiPili anymore.
Yeah, I know you used to do what he's doing. And I think the biggest difference is that you're completely safe against adepts, but the actual biggest part is that you can hide your tech safely, and you can basically your opponent won't know whether you're going for a mothership core scout or you're going for a Stargate. So basically it just gives you a lot of options. They also don't know what tech you're choosing and when you're expanding, so just very good overall. The downside of course being that when you want to take the third base or move out, you will have to bust down that pylon at the gateway. So you're gonna lose 100 minerals, but I would say 8 out of 10 times, definitely worth it.
Oh, we can see Bales is putting down a Stargate too here, so if we see an Oracle here from PiLiPili and then Bales going for Phoenix, that could be huge. But PiLiPili is gonna go for Phoenixes here.
I do believe that PiLiPili did see the shades there, so he does have a probe in position here, so no adepts should get in. But another interesting thing that's actually relevant here is that 2 adepts will beat a stalker, so if Bales would have committed there, that stalker would have probably been in trouble.
Yeah, this is very true. Because there was no other stalkers on the way here or anything like that. He's gonna have to be finishing this pylon here. I'm not sure if he exactly wanted that, but yeah, he's gonna commit to the stalker now, but there's
so this
Phoenix
is actually
there.
huge here, Moro. Revealing the Phoenix, how do you feel about that? Would you have revealed it here, or would you have let the stalker die?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like,
if it's
worth
either
it.
way, I think.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get the worst of both worlds here. Not only showing the Phoenix, but also the stalker is in trouble.
Actually, the adept trying to go away, which I feel like was obviously the wrong choice here. Could have probably traded it for the stalker and gotten the information plus a kill, but in the end I think that PiLiPili got what he wanted, right? Like he wanted to save the stalker, and I personally don't think it was worth it. Like these 2 adepts, it might seem like you're trading energy for actual minerals and gas, but that's not the case. Because if you don't know what your opponent is doing, eventually you want to put on a robo. Actually, PiLiPili, kind of interesting here, is just adding another Stargate with no detection, so... actually, this one shot here by the Stalker might decide the entire Phoenix war, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are close. Let's see how this fight goes.
And it seems like it will be a 1-for-3 trade here in Bale's favor, so... Bale's definitely getting the better end of that trade, considering that he sacrificed the adepts to get the scouting, and... basically, this means that PiLiPili will have to play from behind for a long portion of the game here.
Yeah, it's a bit funny here. If you look from PiLiPili's perspective, he never actually knew that his opponent was playing Stargate, and yet he decided to build all his Phoenixes preemptively, and he also started the second Stargate before he knew that his opponent was playing that too. But yeah, that at least is gonna be nice for him to have these two Stargates available instead of like a Robo right now.
Yeah, another problem for PiLiPili is that when you lose this air superiority, basically what happens is that your opponent can choose to either put on like a Twilight and blink, or he can choose to just put on the Fleet Beacon with no additional Phoenixes. So there's a lot of things going into PiLiPili's mind right now. And there's no real way to be safe, but what he's doing right now is very brave here, I have to say. He just lost a he lost two Phoenixes in the war and he's still chasing Bales, so I feel like this is just crazy.
Yeah, this is... Well, he didn't get punished for that, but I could totally see the game ending there, because like if you lose, once you engage in a Phoenix war, it's very hard to disengage. So if the other guy has one more Phoenix than you might just end up taking like a horrible trade, and then the rest of the game is pretty much impossible. So definitely has to be careful about moves such as that.
Yeah, definitely. PvP, known for a very unforgiving matchup, and particularly Phoenix War is, I would say, one of the most unforgiving things in the game, to be honest. One mistake can definitely just end the game in an instant, because Phoenix Wars are so fragile, or rather so volatile. So basically the deviation already started here. PiLiPili choosing to try to play aggressively to gain information, and therefore he delayed his own Fleet Beacon and the range. And Bale's most definitely gonna aim to move out when the range is gonna be done. He's gonna know that he probably, winning the Phoenix War and having equal amount of Phoenixes, he should have somewhat of a feel for where PiLiPili is in the game. And this is gonna be his time here. He has basically 50 seconds here to make something happen with this lead, until the game basically goes into, I don't want to say a stalemate, but it becomes way more passive and harder to get a lead.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
And here, if PiLiPili is actually clicking on the Phoenixes, he can see the range, and that's actually a very big deal. If he knew that there was range, he would never try to engage like this, I feel.
Yeah, another thing is that PiLiPili doesn't actually have a mothership course here, and Bales is just abusing that completely. He's gonna go kill a ton of probes here. And
yeah.
PiLiPili
So
is
far it's kinda okay, but if they actually get the fighter, and actually losing two Phoenixes for free, I don't feel like PiLiPili can afford to lose Phoenixes like that, and now it's 4 Phoenix into Bales' advantage with range. Range is finished for PiLiPili now, but if Bales can just make the read here that he has so many more Phoenixes, the game will end right here and right now. Doesn't seem like he understands just how big of a lead he has yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, if he probably doesn't know that that PiLiPili doesn't have range, or is just afraid that range is gonna kick in any second here.
Well, I think he has range now, but he does have 4 less Phoenixes, and if Bales could just recap the moments that have happened in this game, he lost 2 Phoenixes in the top left, and he lost 2 Phoenixes right now. And that, plus having earlier range, Bales should know that he's ahead, but it's really hard to know everything for sure. And I feel like PiLiPili is doing the correct response here. He knows that he can't win the Phoenix War long term, so he's just basically clapping his hands together and just hoping that Bales won't punish him. He did make that mothership core, so if he can get up this Templar Archive and get a couple of Archons out, the game will stabilize, but until then it's a very shaky game here. Leads to overcharge, and he doesn't get it, Morrow. And I think that might be lights out.
Yeah, let's see here. Bales actually does realize. I think he knows right now that he has more. Alright.
But he's so afraid, Morrow.
Yeah, he's so afraid of these stalkers. They're actually not
as
dangerous as they look.
He's up 10 Phoenixes right now. And you have to think when you're Bales there, you see that many gateways, you have to be like, wait a second.
Oh, and it's gonna go for it right now. There's no escape for PiLiPili.
Just gonna lift up the stalkers here, and that's gonna be the GG from PiLiPili most likely. There's not really much coming back in this matchup, as I said, it's very volatile. If he can catch these Templars, or if they can get some good feedback, they have to definitely swing the favors into him, for him. But I actually don't think the Archons can even walk down the ramp. I think they're too big.
Yeah, I think so too. That wall in the early game is gonna cost him here. I don't think it actually matters though, but still.
Still, Another thing that is not gonna be in his favor. So
Absolutely.
basically, Bay's doubling his supply right now. PiLiPili can't be happy about this first game, but like we said, it's a thing where the smallest things make the biggest of differences. PiLiPili basically choosing to make that aggressive scout in the early game, I feel like that basically he never recovered from that.
Yeah.
It made him get a later range and just never got the chance to get back into the game.
Exactly. It's just so important in a Phoenix versus Phoenix war that you really want to know that your opponent is playing Phoenix too, so you don't make those, so you're not forced to make this like, you know, quote unquote random Phoenix attacks in the early game where the opponent can have one more because of defender's advantage. But he had to do that, and yeah, that's where it just got out of control for him.
Yeah, PiLiPili trying to do a 3 Archon timing attack, but realizing that it probably would not work. So Bales getting the shorter, I mean getting the better end of that deal, and I feel like this kind of game was not really representative of PiLiPili's skill. It was more one of the unfortunate situations that can happen, but personally, when I see 2 adepts out on the map like that, I'm thinking, well, 2 adepts are out on the map being this aggressive. There's a pretty big chance that my opponent is going for something like DT or Phoenixes or something like that. It's very rare that you open like 2 adepts into Blink Stalkers, you know?
Yeah, it is true. Like the depths is very good when you want to go into Stargates like that. So
Yeah.
it was a bit of a tell.
Yeah, definitely. I guess that's why he also put down that second Stargate. So it does make sense to some extent, but
Yeah.
kinda should have probably just tried to run home. I feel like he didn't do the best job. I feel like losing 2 Phoenixes there in the 3-on-3 Phoenix war should not really have happened. Perhaps I'm being too harsh about that, but I feel like stuff like that really does matter in the long run in Phoenix war. I think losing 1 or like trading 3 for 2 would have been okay, but 3 for 1 was just devastating.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Like he didn't even have, you know, 1 less Phoenix. It was 3 against 3, like you're saying. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a like kind of surprising actually.
But this very different map, I would say this map is very much more uncommon that you get to the situation of having Phoenix War because of the gold minerals being, how would you say, more friendly towards mineral-based armies and not gas-based, pretty much. I feel like it's much easier to saturate the bases here with only needing 12 workers on each mineral field and having a very wide open surface to the 3rd base. So this is one of those maps where I would say Blink Stalkers are definitely king.
Yeah, definitely. Another huge thing, like why we often see Phoenix Wars and Dust Towers, is because you have that backdoor expansion, which is allows you to, you know, wall off completely and just deny the information from your opponent, which just makes Stargate that much stronger. But on a map like this, you actually have to legit have an army to defend whatever comes at you. And like you said, for even taking a 3rd base, you need a standing army for that as well. So Phoenix is definitely kind of harder to play, as well as just Stargate route in general.
Yeah, definitely true. And actually, this is one of those maps where I feel like it's possible to go for an expansion the way PiLiPili is doing, but there is quite a few build orders that you can have trouble with, and I do like that PiLiPili did choose to not wall on the low ground, because you can get the same denying thing going, the information denial I mean, as on Dusk Tower, but the price is that you have a much more exposed wall compared to Dusk Tower, so I like that PiLiPili was not choosing to base his initial defense down there, but actually this is a pretty big deal. Bale's got a gas deal off, and what that means is that PiLiPili's tech choices here will be very limited. Usually you want to start Warp Gate and Stalker and a Mothership Core pretty much when you're playing defensively, but he will have to choose here.
Yeah, with that lack of gas now, he's gonna have to make some tough decisions what he actually wants to spend his gas on here. Bales is gonna go for double adept here, which I do like, and then it's gonna go into that Stargate too. So overall, just pretty nice decisions here from Bales. I do like it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Bale's got the better end of the stick here, and as I was touching on before, this is one of those maps where I feel like you can make something happen with extra minerals from the gold base. So, oh, this is actually kind of interesting. PiLiPili, he did make that sellout. I thought it would be to kill the second gas here, but it's gonna be a scouting sellout, kind of bringing me back that nostalgia.
Yeah.
One of the early things that we used to do in StarCraft in PvT, we sent a sellout across the entire map before the Reaper really existed, or was plus against light armored. And this might be a really good scout, because there's no units being made for Bales.
Yeah, not only that, like he has this probe
Such
too, so he
broadcasting.
really wants to scout out what's going on here. The Oracle is probably gonna pop before this probe arrives though.
Yeah, so PiLiPili does have that scouting probe. He did see the Nexus, and is this sellout gonna get something done here? There's actually no units being made still, and there's no mothership. So if he can get into a sweet spot here between the minerals, perhaps he can make something happen. Oh my god, and all the probes, they know what's up. The jig is up, Morrow.
Yeah, he surrounds that sellout completely. He gets one
Gets
kill.
one kill, and he does see that there's a second Oracle coming though, so will he be prepared? Does he have a mothership even?
Oh
I don't
man,
think
these
he has.
stalkers are not
This
done.
Oracle is gonna be devastating Morrow.
Yeah.
Actually, gets overcharge off, so only 2 kills.
Yeah, that's a very nice pylon placement there. I was very worried for him. I thought the mothership core would be in the main base, but that's where he has the
Yeah.
stalkers.
But there is one more coming to the main, but as you said, there's already 2 stalkers there, and there's 2 in the natural, 2 in the main, and he should be able to warp in 2 more additional stalkers here. So I feel like if PiLiPili just plays this correctly, he will be fine. Okay, so not much damage, only 1 probe with each Oracle, and I have to say that's definitely not enough for investing into the Oracles, but he is gonna try to go around here.
Oh.
And I have to say, Bales out multitasking PiLiPili quite a bit right now, getting 4 additional kills.
Yeah, that was the damage that he's been looking for with these oracles. He's of course behind in a couple of probes right now, but what he does get is map control for the coming minutes here.
Yes, definitely. And what this means when you have the Oracles out is that as long as they don't die and your opponent doesn't have Phoenixes, it means that you will always have that map control that Mor is talking about, which will enable him to not only scout constantly, because he sees the Twilight Council, he even sees the Chrono Boost, he sees everything in PiLiPili's base, and he can also take a third base behind this, because you can't really just leave your base against the double Oracle either. So Bale's in a very comfortable spot here, I would say. And I would say the only place where he is actually lacking is in the Blink tech, which probably won't be a game changer, if I would guess. PiLiPili is adding on a big number of gateways here. You might even see a gateway explosion.
Yeah, it's that explosion
And he
coming
does
in
have
here.
that pylon across the map on
Yeah.
the gold base, so as long as Bales doesn't try to expand there. But there's actually another thing I was thinking about. When you go for double Oracle, you don't always factor in Dark Templars, and he does not have vision of the Dark Shrine yet, so if Bales does take this Observer out on a spin, that might be a problem.
Oh, but it does find the pylon in the top right here on the third base. So and this is PiLiPili's only point to warp in. And the one probe that is out on the map is actually stasis right now. So if he was planning to do anything aggressive, oh, he's building a warp prism. I see. So that's what he's gonna use to warp in a bunch of units here.
Yes, and it has been a while since Bales actually went scouting into PiLiPili's base, and I have to feel like if PiLiPili does not get the Dark Shrine scouted, that will probably be his ticket back into the game, because right now it's not looking that great for him. Because what is really important in PvP is sentries and immortals in the straight up fight. And he doesn't have either one right now. It's pure stalkers, which is not the greatest in a straight up fight.
Okay, Bates is gonna meet him in the middle here, so good catch there. Of course, PiLiPili wants to do his best to circumvent that immortal army and maybe even try to abuse his ability or mobility, perhaps counterattacking. But At this point, Bales is just so far across the map that he has to confront this army.
Yeah, and I do feel like PiLiPili is definitely playing with fire here, but another story that's going on in this game is that Bales did see the Warp Prism with his Oracle, but he does not yet know that it's Dark Templars, and it's still only one observer, Moro. So if these two DTs come in here and then one into the natural base, that will be exactly what PiLiPili needs right now. And I think this will do extreme amount of damage, Moro.
Yeah, Bales, in the meantime, probably maybe gonna get the Nexus here, but I mean, look at all these probes he's losing.
Yes, PiLiPili already ahead in the probe count, so this Dark Templar tech did definitely what he needed. Let's take a look here of 30 workers for Bales, 29, 28, 27, they just keep falling. While Bales might be able to edge it out in the main fight here, it's not gonna be convincingly enough to make this economical damage work with it. And he doesn't even kill the Nexus, Moro.
Yeah, he doesn't even win the fight, so he's just losing on every front right now. 50 supply against 100. I'm not sure what he can do from here. Yeah, he's just gonna GG.
I guess that's what he can do, Moro. He can leave the game. And kinda strange that PiLiPili went for the Dark Shrine, to be honest. Like, it was 2 Oracles out already and an Observer, so I would have personally not felt very comfortable being PiLiPili going for the Dark Shrine there, feeling that there was so much detection already on the map. And honestly, Moro, what would you think the chances were of Bales not casting a Revelation to scout the Dark Shrine there? I personally felt like the odds were pretty small that he would not scout it.
Yeah, I feel like if your opponent has like 1 Oracle and you have really quick blink, you can actually get by with a Dark Shrine, but seeing how there were 2 Oracles, but not only that, he didn't go for quick blink, the odds of that Dark Shrine getting scouted, whether it be by Revelation or just the Oracle flying in, I felt was incredibly high, you know, so... but it did work out, so props to him for zoning out the Oracle and whatnot. And I have to apologize for the viewers, the fact that I didn't change the overlay until like 1 minute into that game. But yeah, you guys didn't miss too much in the early game, but still, sorry about that. So yeah, we have 1-1 right now in this PvP with the Bales and PiLiPili. It's a best of 5. The loser doesn't actually lose in the tournament, he just goes down to the loser bracket, and that's of course not what you want to do, but at least it's not lights out completely if you were to lose this first match here.
Not sure if we should ask for a 20-minute ad break. I'm feeling like we should, but I'm gonna let it slide for now.
Yeah, I'm not sure, it will take a bit of time before we can like establish dominance in this casting scene that we're entering here.
Yes, establishing dominance. Isn't that what it's all about? So far I would say that each map has played out kind of similarly. Like, you can make the wall off on Dusk Tower. Both players chooses to not do it, however. And now we have another map that requires a completely different playstyle, pretty much. And the reason why that is because Alrina, the map we're playing on right now, is that the air distance is so short from base to base that if he would try to do the fast expansion build again, there's a very big chance that he would just slam up a bunch of pylons, and then he would lose too much economy.
Yeah, so what we say players do on this map is, at least back when I played the map, people used to do 2-gate all the time, because if you did anything else, it was like impossible to go 1-gate expand, for example, or Nexus Rise, because just like Nana was saying, that the rush distance by Ares is way too close, but even by ground it's like pretty damn close, that it's just, you have to open a little bit safer here, and 2-gate seems to be the way to go about it.
Yes, and you can see Bales choosing to send out a very early probe here, and the reason for this is that there is a hex here in the middle of the map where you can just put 1 pylon, and that will basically block the entire pathway to your main. So choosing to scout very early so he won't get denied, because then he might have to run across the entire map and he wouldn't know what's happening. So just very safe play from Bales, I would say.
Yeah, but to me it's a little bit weird that he's, you know, even though you can get denied, you know, with a pylon down here, it just feels like even if that happens, there's still like plenty of time to scatter your opponent before the stalkers or the mothership core come out. When I play this map, I usually just scout as late as possible. Much more like PiLiPili is doing right now, but even later than this, I think is completely reasonable, since
Yes.
2-gate is so popular.
So I think that is happening because of what you were talking about, is that PiLiPili's cyber core will actually be 3 seconds earlier, and might not seem like the biggest of deals, but it can definitely influence the game, because Bales, he actually made a third pylon before warp gate there, so actually 10 seconds ahead in warp gate is actually quite relevant, I would say. So I guess, especially since PiLiPili is going for a stalker based army, that might come into play. But actually, Morrow, there's a Twilight Council at the other side of the map.
Yeah,
How do you feel about this like this in Legacy of the Void?
Yeah, well, on this map, like PiLiPili had a probe right in his main base, and he can see that, alright, he's making 2 gateway units, warp take, but no mothership core. But I'm doing that, so there's gotta be 100 resources that's just not being spent right now. So maybe Bales could have, or PiLiPili could have deducted that there must be a proxy pylon. I'm not sure.
So Bales actually getting an adept in there, sacrificing it to get the scout up, seeing that there's no expansion, but he does not know if there's a robo or not. And Morrow, it seems like we have a clown fiesta going on here with both people proxying each other, going full North America.
Full end here.
And, Bale's doing a proxy Twilight, proxy Darkshine, and I have to say, I like Bale's approach here more than PiLiPili's. Like, basically the thing about the build that Bales is doing is that it's safe against anything that doesn't include a robo. I do think that the overcharge was kinda late here. So actually gonna trade here a lot of stalkers, but definitely favoring Bales in that trade, and there's still no robo going on, which is the real story here. PiLiPili did go into his base, he did see that there was no tech, no expansion, and if I was PiLiPili, I would be kind of weirded out here.
Oh yeah, he even slams down a 4th gateway there, so no read from the scout in the main base there with the stalker. I mean, he's gonna cancel this Nexus, sure, and he might even do some damage here, but as soon as the Dark Templars come out, Bales can defend with DTs and go kill his opponent with them.
So there's a one DT getting a very slow warp in here, taking a whole 11 seconds, but it's gonna take a lot longer than 11 seconds to build a robo Morrow. There's no sentry on the way, and I think this will just trigger him to leave, to be honest. Perhaps he will make a panic robo right now, seeing the DT slice away at the stalkers, but it will be too late, Morrow.
Yeah, immediately turned down the robo, but yeah, just way too late there, and no center to force field.
Yeah, PiLiPili basically all trying to basically wall in that pylon so that it can't be empowered, but still he's gonna need a lot of force fields here tomorrow, and I don't know if that's even gonna be possible.
Yeah, let's just say is he gonna even try to?
It is only one Dark Templar, but he doesn't even force field!
Yeah.
That was the only thing he had to do, Morrow. That was the only thing he could do.
Yeah. I guess it was microing across the map against the Stalker army and the DT, but he was never gonna win that either, so yeah, that's another loss there for PiLiPili.
Yeah, very explosive games, I have to say here. Going very quick, all of them so far, and so far it's been quite a lot of, I would say, quote-unquote coin flips here. 4-gate against Proxy Dark Templar. Both players on one base, and then Phoenix War with no scouting from either player. Just a lot of variables going into these games, I feel. That both players not afraid to coin flip, to say the least.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. But that's also like, if you want to win a best of 5 in PvP, you can't just do it like by playing 100% solid. Like you gotta throw those curveballs, take these opportunities. I definitely liked what I saw in game 1 on Dusk Turf from both of these players. I think on Old Arena it looked a little bit iffy from both of them. Perhaps they don't have that much experience on the arena, Because they did go for decisions like the third pylon while the opponent was in the main base, and just going for a simple 4-gate, things like that. Just in my experience, at least, aren't the best strategies to go for.
Yeah, definitely going for a build such as Proxy Dark Templar with a slow pylon warp in. There was a very slim chance that PiLiPili did not have that robo, to be honest, but in the end, it is a win, and a win is a win, right? So
exactly.
I'm kind of curious here as to what we will see here. I'm not sure if this map is the best for any kind of proxy, but there's a lot of locations to proxy tech, and basically what happened with the last game is that PiLiPili will have to play safe here. If he does not play safe, then he would feel like a fool going out of the tournament by another coin flip.
Alright, so we have a 2 gas opening from both of these players here. Let's see if... looks like PiLiPili is gonna put on that second gateway here, and I would say that this is pretty damn normal on these maps right now. Especially the new maps, you know, with just a standard low ground expansion like this. If you take Pry into races, for example, you have, you know, the ramp in the natural, and you have the gold patches that, you know, can just boost you in the defense there with a quick expand. But on these maps, you gotta stick to the 2-gate to actually claim that expansion.
Yeah, another thing about this map is that it's got that lower ground expansion, but another interesting thing about this map is that the rush distance from natural to natural is actually quite short, so there is the potential for adept play on this map. I would say that most maps are favoring the Stalker kind of playstyle, which is more solid, but on a map as short as this, I would say that there's a pretty decent chance that one of these players will choose to open with that adept play, and actually both players are gonna choose to open with the adept play here, and I guess we'll see. There is, as far as I'm concerned, there's 2 ways to play it. Either you slam down a Stargate and you expand, or you slam down a Stalker, and 2 additional Stalkers, and then you expand, which then will allow you to have a bit more of an aggressive approach, I would say, to the matchup. So actually, PiLiPili not doing either of the options that I was talking about, instead going for the Twilight Council, and Bales going for the Stargate. And I guess the real danger point here for Bales will be to find the probe that is patrolling to the left of the map here, because that is going to come into play, no doubt about it. And actually, this is kind of big. PiLiPili getting, okay, shading away right in time, so no actual trade being made there. Both people know that the adepts are coming, and I feel like Bales is a little bit out of position here. And he doesn't have a second overcharge, but he does have more units. But will he scout the Stargate tomorrow? He will. So both tech for both players is revealed.
Yep.
And I think that actually favors PiLiPili.
Yeah, and PiLiPili is also getting like more probe kills here, so it takes a probe advantage.
Yes, but if you know that your opponent is going for Stargate and you're going for this Blink build, I feel like PiLiPili, he even saw that there was no Oracle on the way, so there is a pretty big chance that PiLiPili will just take these Stalkers, move across the map, and try to assert his dominance by killing Bales straight up.
Yeah.
And if I was Bales, I would do the exact same thing that he's doing, just add the Robo before the expansion. There's no need to rush here. They're both on one base. So just do whatever is the best against Blink, but I think this is actually quite a mistake from Bales. I don't think he can hold this low ground expansion while losing that many probes.
Exactly, like this is extremely ambitious here, because he knows that there's gonna be Blink pretty soon here on his front door knocking, so definitely want to chrono boost out an Immortal as soon as possible here.
Yeah, definitely want that Immortal, but another thing more is that he doesn't have money to create units from his Warp Gate, which is exactly what you want, but actually let's wait here and see, can he get the Oracle? It is crucial that this Oracle stays alive. It has to constantly threaten the move out from PiLiPili's additional Stalkers if Bales wants any chance to win here. But actually, Bale's doing quite a decent amount of damage there with the Oracle. PiLiPili working up the exact minimum amount of workers, to be honest, in this attack here, and I think even if Bales cancel this, he is not in a bad spot right now.
Yeah, I think he... Oh, he's going up in the main base here. One overcharge going
Blink
down
in
here.
or blink out, bro.
Oh
Looks
yeah,
like
he's gonna
will
blink out. Oh, he doesn't get either of those pylons. He's gonna get the Nexus though. I feel like he's losing quite a bit of time here.
Oh,
Bales
and
is
he
not going
didn't
for
cancel
it.
the Nexus Moro.
Yeah, he didn't.
So I feel like both players perhaps feeling the pressure here, and PiLiPili, it's important to note that he did trigger that Immortal Shield. It is crucial that you have it on not autocast. You don't want that barrier on smartcast when you have these one immortal kind of situations.
Oh, and the Oracle going
And
down
once
there.
again, Moro, he triggered the second barrier, and I feel like that might be game. He might just blink in here and finish him.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
he's gonna
Bale's
put all
getting
the
desperate
probes.
here. Yeah, just gonna go for a blink I was talking about, because why not? He has so much more units, Moro.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bez was in a pretty good spot. If he just cancelled the Nexus there and did not have that on Smartcast, I would have said that this game would have been in favor of Bales.
Yeah, I thought for sure that Bales was just gonna say like, alright, I can't hold the natural, so I'm gonna cancel that, but at least I can hold my main base. I shouldn't really take any losses, but PiLiPili almost succeeded to kill him here. So let's see if we can go for the killing blow here with the
Actually warping in cell lots.
Yeah.
So not going for any kind of trade. That is the strength of the Blinkstalker, is that you don't trade anything, you just micro. You trade shields for units, but PiLiPili, he is going for the kill. And there is one more overcharge Moro. And I don't think this game is over just yet, perhaps. Will he try to blink in to this overcharge? And that was very ambitious by PiLiPili. Because I feel like the only way he can actually lose is by doing stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a little bit dicey there. He almost got surrounded completely, and then you know, Bales could have maybe defended, but as it looks right now, PiLiPili just has too many probes, and he got the blink tech.
Yeah, while we can talk about the micro and the macro, in the end, sometimes economy is just what the game boils down to. Just money against no money, units against no units. It doesn't matter if PiLiPili micros anymore. It just has more stuff. So yeah, it's easy to be critical here. It is not an easy thing to always perfectly micro the Immortals, but it is crucial at the pro level in these situations that he can't just edge forward with one Stalker Moro and just trigger the shield. Because that actually just destroyed Bales. It lost him the game completely.
Yeah, I mean, because that basically nullifies the biggest, you know, advantage you got with the Immortal, which is the barrier ability. It is just so strong in Legacy of the Void. And, you know, just going in there poking with one unit, that's the traditional way of dealing with it. But that shouldn't actually work at this level of play, especially in a one base against one base scenario like that.
Oh, and it is... Wait, I thought the score was 2-1 Bales.
No, I believe that no, it's really hard for me.
Oh,
Like,
wait,
play
no,
scores.
so it's 2-2 now. I'm retarded.
No, I'm that too, man. Don't worry about it. I mix up the scores all the time.
So this will actually be a match point then for both players. And PiLiPili really... I actually thought that when the build orders were revealed for each other, they both went for their respective tech. I felt like it was better for PiLiPili. But Bales, if he just took it a bit slower and just warped in a couple of more units, he might have been contained, sure. But the Ward Prism is also something that has been changed in Legacy of the Void, that it has such long range now that it's very easy to bust out of a contain. So I feel like Bales, his strategical choices are good, but he just needs to slow down a little bit, is what I feel.
Yeah, he was a little bit over-ambitious there, not respecting the blink tech enough there.
Yes, definitely. So the map is Runes of Endion. It is one of those new maps as well that has gotten a very interesting kind of... I'm not sure if you call it mechanics, but it's very interestingly made so that you can kill the rocks. And they have 500 HP, and they will actually bring down both rocks by killing one. And what that will do is that you can't really attack your opponent for quite a while, so... The common trend I've seen on this map is either to go for 2 adepts really fast and just rush them across and then break down the rocks, or just go for 2 stalkers and send your mothership, because the close by air distance is also very short on this map.
Okay, so we have a 2-gate against 2-gate here again. What do you think about this 2-gate trend on these maps, Nandama? Is there any other build you can open up with?
I have been thinking about it, Moro, and I think if you are a very ambitious man, you might be able to get away with, for example, Mothership Stalker and making a pylon to overcharge and kill the rock tower. It might sound silly, but I actually think it could work.
Oh, that sounds very interesting.
Do you think it could work, Moro?
I think that the timings should be able to work out, but at the same time when you're doing that, you're also like displaying that very heavily for the opponent, so they could perhaps abuse you and like you know, expand themselves, but you didn't know what they're doing, but they know what you're doing, which is a fast expand. So maybe if they just went like Stargate Nexus, they could perhaps be ahead.
What I meant was more like you send the probe scout, right, and then you overcharge the pylon, you kill the rock, and then you send your mothership to scout their base while making stalkers to deflect their mothership.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. That's very interesting. I do believe it would work actually.
Yeah, I feel like it would kill the rock tower before the adepts make it across. Considering that it's almost at his base now, but these players not quite geniuses like me. So unfortunately we have to deal with this, and actually he did not choose to commit to that shading, because the consensus is actually that you want to trade these adepts because they do become much worse later on, but PiLiPili definitely wants to scout, and he is gonna commit. He does see the tech, but he got 3 probes so far, I believe, and is that enough, Moro? Is that enough damage?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If you can get the full scout and kill 3 probes with 2 adepts, that's about as much as you would ask from those 2 adepts.
Well, there is a downside to it though, Moro, and the downside is that his tech from himself was very delayed here. You see the Robo is barely halfway done, and Blink is almost halfway done. So Bales did trade a couple of probes for those adapts, but he did get very fast tech for it, and you can see there's already 2 proxied pylon out on the map here. But the mechanics that we were talking about with the rocks being a big part of this map is something that might come into play here, but actually PiLiPili not killing the rock here, and I feel like if he does not kill the rock, it will be very easy for Bales to just go in there and start microing and trading very well.
Alright, PiLiPili is scouting the high ground here, perhaps gonna kill the rocks right now. Oh,
Justin Browder has never been more relevant than now.
Oh, this time is gonna work out beautifully for PiLiPili. He's gonna see the attack and deny it.
And you know, if those stalkers would have actually been under the rocks, they would have died.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. He could have maybe left the rocks with like 50 HP and tried to go for a sick trap like that.
But there is actually one thing that will come into play here, and it is Blink, of course. And if he blinks over here, would you blink over him or would you kill the rock? I feel like that's the biggest choice that he has here.
It's just requires so much balls, right? Because there might be more stalkers behind that you can't see, or like immortal or sentries.
But at the same time, every second used not blinking when you have blink is a waste when you're going for an all-in. And he does still have this one adept, and this adept is very crucial. And let me explain why, Moro. And it's dead.
Oh, and it's dead.
Either way, that adept would have allowed him to have vision into the main base. And what that means is that he's already sending the mothership core across the map here, and he's gonna have to wait for that to get sight up in the main base. And as I said, every second that you're not doing something with your blink stalkers against a guy with an expansion and a robo is very, very bad.
Yeah, I mean, there are already 2 immortals out here. There's
and
no
that
guardian
mothership is very low, Moro. He's just gonna recall.
Oh wow, that is huge.
So what do you do here, Moro? Personally, Moro, I would warp in 4 adapts and perhaps hide 2 targets in the corner of a map. Not even joking, just maybe save up 10 Void Rays and hope that my opponent doesn't attack or something.
Yeah, I feel like...
Because I feel like this is a horrible spot for Bales.
Yeah, I mean, even if it goes like something crazy like double expand, PiLiPili is gonna see it immediately since he does have observers out already. He just can't hide anything at this point. Yeah,
so he's just trying to get everything he can here, and I think this is a very nice move by Bales. He needs to just go around PiLiPili's base, try to snipe every pylon, every probe that he can without losing anything. He just needs to get that, just needs to squeeze the value out of the stalkers pretty much until PiLiPili gets his own blink here. So very nice getting that sentry.
Oh, but losing the observer.
Losing the observer and the stalker, so in the end, not a very good trade here. And I feel like Bales, he's just taking this approach perhaps too safely. I feel like the Adepts would have probably been a good choice since PiLiPili obviously does not have Blink of his own.
Yeah.
How would you have felt about a few Adepts, Moro?
Do you mean like that he would make a Nexus first and then warp in Adepts?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Or perhaps even make a Warp Prism a while ago as well would have been a good choice.
Kappa.
Because just macroing like this is kind of dangerous here.
Yeah, of course, like you want your opponent to do like, they need to do some kind of mistakes, and Adept is a great way to challenge your opponent to know, you know, quote unquote fuck up, you know, but not doing anything. He's just can't expect to come back in a game like this. Yeah,
we do say not anything, but it seems that our two players have chosen a couple of different crossroads here, and with that I mean like PiLiPili choosing for the 6-gate blink with the Dark Shrine again, and the Forge +1, and Bales on the other hand, just identifying that, okay, I'm gonna be behind an upgrade, so there's no point in starting them. I'm just gonna try to pretty much stabilize and get disruptors out to try to get insane value out of those.
Yeah.
So I do like that, I think it's a great choice, and he did see the Warp Prism, which is actually a very big deal.
Oh, excuse me, I missed that. Yeah, that is great. He's gonna move some stalkers to the main base here. Got the Immortals and the sentries in the natural.
I think the biggest point here, Moro, will be where will that observer be once the Warp Prism goes in? And he does seem to have learned from his mistakes, Moro. It is going to be in the main base.
Yeah, he might even want to build
catching
another.
A couple of DTs here will be exactly what it needs, and it's 4 DTs. It's a huge commitment by PiLiPili here.
Okay, one DT is gonna walk into the natural there, where there's no observer.
Okay, so maybe that will trigger him to send back the observer actually.
Alright, let's see.
So this might be genius.
Observer
But
doesn't
Bales,
take the
not
back.
good mechanics enough to react, will get the DT.
I think he anticipated the double prong there and didn't move the observer, so if that's the case, great move by him, but he still needs to answer for this DT in the natural.
That would still panic force this, but in the end, guys, that's 2 stalkers for 4 DTs. That's 500 gas for 50. And that's exactly what Bales needed to come back into the game. I wouldn't say it's entirely back yet, but that was something he needed, and definitely not worth it for PiLiPili.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually put him in the favor here, as long as PiLiPili doesn't cancel this 3rd Nexus here.
Well, there is an interesting deviation right now, Moro, and that is that PiLiPili, being a man, choosing to not go for disruptors at all, instead opting to go for that Templar tech, and now it all makes sense why he went for that early Forge, because Archons and Immortals, these units are units that they gain so much from every piece of upgrade you have, and it actually seems like PiLiPili is going to try to go for a cancel here, and this is kind of dangerous. And I don't think he will get it. Only losing 1 Stalker, but in the end every unit counts when it comes to a mirror matchup.
Yeah, I feel like it was a cool idea though, but definitely risky. I'm not sure if he had any like scouting of where Bale's army was, because stuff like that can definitely backfire. Let's say that Bales was actually pretty close and he would have just lost every single stalker there.
Actually, I'm getting a bit scared here for PiLiPili, I have to say. Every second that goes by when your opponent is just going for disruptors and you don't have any plans of getting them, is a second where you have to be scared. Because PiLiPili now seeing the shot here, knowing that, oh, there's a timer on my life right now. If I don't get something to happen, these disruptors in the big 200-200 fight will just be too big of a deal to ignore. So when you are in a low army count like they are right now, I would say relatively low, these are the times where you can dodge the shots and they can do minimal value, and you can use that upgrade lead to trade better than your opponent, but you definitely can't just stay back as PiLiPili right now. He has to be aggressive.
Alright, PiLiPili is setting up some multi-prong attacks here, and this is a great move against disruptors, which are amazing at fighting in one place. Perhaps it's gonna go with both armies at the same time, towards the same place, and go for a big flank.
And actually, more a huge shot, and he doesn't move.
That's a big
Losing
one
5
there.
stocks in one flash. And one more shot coming in here. Just free value is good, Morrow. Actually, the mothership falling, and that's actually quite a big deal. But another big shot here, and the supplies are almost even. And there's gonna be 2 more shots coming from behind Morrow. Ah!
Oh my god!
Close your eyes!
All of the immortals get hit there.
Oh my god! And this barely dies. This is so close.
Oh, but the immortals are not dead though, and all the disruptors are. The zealots are still gonna tank for them.
I feel like, oh my god, this one shot Morrow. Ah!
Oh wow!
2 immortals go down, but I feel like it's just barely too much for Bales to handle. I think he needed to give up the 3rd base. He needed to just keep making disruptors and get that value. But instead, PiLiPili hitting a very strong timing here. Basically, the lead he had from the early mid game carrying over to the late game. Just in the end, money is all that really matters in StarCraft, and Bales has none.
But there was also like no photon overcharge taking place in that last fight.
Oh, that's
that
actually
is,
a good point, because that might have been exactly the thing to swing it to his favor.
Yeah. Yeah, he did have a couple of pylons out there by those rocks, but you know, they were just isolated away from the army and just got picked off before the fight even started. So that's quite a big deal, because if you can actually have 4 pylons during that fight, I think the fight would have looked very different there. Another thing you can do as a disruptor player there is that after you take that 3rd base, is that you put down gateways, regardless if you need them or not. You just put them down for SimCity, right? So you can make the opponent choke up, you know, on the outside of those gateways, so you can get those money shots with the disruptors.
Definitely one of those things that we've seen even from Wings of Liberty in those Chargeslot Orcon kind of wars, you know, it's kind of like when you're playing against Ultralisk. You want to just place a bunch of gateways in the front so that they can't get good surface area. So that might have been something that he should have looked into, but I think the biggest story was just that the mothership core died. And that's basically just, like, let's say it like this, each overcharge is a potential 500 plus damage. If you think about it like that, having 4 overcharges with the potential of having 2000 damage Morrow would have made a huge difference in that game.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Alright, let's see here. I was hoping that we could get PiLiPili's next match too, since it is going to be against the Terran. But we're going to have to ask the other casters that they don't have plans of doing that. Does that sound alright with you? Or do you want to get some other match?
Of course, and take whatever match there is, bro.
Alright.
But yeah, overall, very explosive and very aggressive series. And I personally thought that Bales was in a very good spot in a lot of the games to take it. But just barely making these small mechanical mistakes.
I thought that Bales would actually be back in the game there and you know, win after that Dark Templar stuff didn't work out. I just saw it in front of me.
Unfortunately, guys, they're gonna have a Terran cast the Protoss in the 2nd round. PJ Salt.